solo queue. So he's certainly, trying to step up his game that bit more, and has said in the past that he feels that he still needs to step up for his team. There's Karma. It's not going to be Karma, Jason.
It's like, there's Karma, and she's gone. Yeah, so we're not going to see her most likely here, but we will see Nami this time. So we're going to have, looks like a Nami Ezreal lane, and we're going to have Ocelot on Ahri, which, matter of fact, he was playing earlier today in solo queue. He was playing, actually, he's solo period in that game. He played with Wicked a little bit earlier than that on Ahri, but we'll see how well he's actually going to do on that, because he did a phenomenal job in his warm-up, but Ahri is one of those kind of game changers, or it can be, depending on how well you play her, where, if you gank early on with her, you can create some opportunities. Also, late game, if you can catch a charm, like we've seen so many charms be so crucial with Pharrell and Lord yesterday, just every charm you hit could really set up an entire fight. You could blow someone up, and we're going to see how he's able to do that.
So, there's a Kassadin here right now for LemonDogs. They're actually going to lock that in there. I was thinking maybe, Orianna's available. If Nuke feels comfortable going 1v1 against that Ahri, you've got the ridiculous combo, the wombo combo of the Orianna ball on top of Malphite when he goes in there, which we used to see pretty much all the time. That was like the combo.
That was it.
That was to have was the Malphite Orianna. This time though, they've gone for Kassadin against Ocelot's Ahri.
Yeah, so, I mean, Kassadin, he's going to be really hard to lock down with the charm. Obviously, early on, you can harass him quite well, which I might expect also to level up his Foxfire first. You level up your Orbit Deception when you want to push the lane, but obviously Kassadin can't push that lane and get hard against you, so he wants to harass him quite a bit, but it just depends on how well Nuke roams, which we've seen him do on Ahri before. He's a fantastic roamer, and the Orianna wouldn't be a bad pick, but I know that at least for Nuke, he'd have a very hard time in lane against Ocelot, so the Kassadin, it gives him the opportunity to go for a complete counter pick here. And not to mention, I mean, look at the champions he's against. An Ahri, an Ezreal, and a Jace in terms of damage. They're relatively squishy champions unless you finally do get like a Zhonya's onto Ahri. So he has that potential to burst someone down if need be. And also it's running teleport. So that just shows he wants to interact with other lanes. He took a note out of Charu's book, taking teleport. And we'll see how well he actually uses it.
Now we see the lovely people of Moscow.
About to say, we're watching OGN right now, where all the women cover their faces.
I was just about to say some lovelier than others, but
oh god,
that's true for all of us, I think, Jason.
Thanks.
I'm being the lovely one, of course, in this pairing.
The beard is fantastic.
I'm actually pretty proud of what I've achieved so far, but I'm still working on it, so don't worry, guys. It's only getting more impressive. So yeah, we're going to get into this one here, and really excited to see how LemonDogs do after, a mixed performance at DreamHack. 2 for 3, definitely not a bad string of results what they have under their belts right now. SK, on the other hand, of course, they are not looking too strong right now. They know it themselves. They've put this work in that they need to do to get things fixed. They're currently, of course, 1 for 4. They could be tied with NIP down with 1 for 5 if they're not careful here.
Yeah, it's just not the start you want. Like, it just takes such a big hit on you, just on your mentality of the game and how you've been pushing for this, the World Finals here. But also, I want to point this out before we fully get underway and start talking about what's going to happen. He's running actually 8 flat armor pen, so that just shows you he expects to go up against Nuke. He wants to harass him like crazy under lane. And as you can tell, we have a little bit of a pause here. But in terms of level 1 action, Joe, I'm not really expecting too much. If anything, SK might go for some sort of invade where they have, that charm to work off of, follow up with the Aqua Prison, obviously, and really try to burst someone down. But at this point, in the season, we're only 2 weeks in, you're 1 and 4. Is that the time to go for something crazy, or is that the time to play safe?
That's a really difficult question to ask, because some would argue that's when you have to take your risk to climb back up. On the other hand, especially a team with a name like LCS, people would say this is when you play safe and you play your game that you can win, and any risks you don't really need to, you don't need to take that gamble at this point in the season. You just need to get those results in that on paper you should be having, and I'm quite sure that LCS coming into a game against LemonDogs have this. If they looked at their fixture list before the season, probably would have had ticks for a win next to the LemonDogs game. Yeah, and this reminds me of something that I was talking about a long time ago about a certain fighter game, is that, new teams that come into the league, like, you're not necessarily used to the style that they're playing. They might not play the exact same meta that you're playing at in LCS. And one thing I can think of in particular was this fighting game where someone actually went into it just spamming buttons, didn't play the game at all, ended up beating like the best player there, because just the whole change of a play style can really catch you off guard, and maybe that's what these new teams have done to SK. Well, right now we are back in towards the game, and you can see that both teams are actually looking to invade with SK on the top side of the LemonDogs jungle and LemonDogs on the bottom side of the SK jungle.
And it looks like I want to see who backs first, actually, who backs out of this. Or they're just going to both go to ward and back out. But it looks like that's exactly what LemonDogs will do. But SK, they want to go for this steal here. But LemonDogs, they're gonna run into a ward. They're gonna spot this, and we might see a big fight breaking out. But both teams are staying in wards. They know where each other are.
Yeah, this is a very interesting start to this one. Let's see if LemonDogs go in. I mean, SK are somewhat pinned in there right now. Of course, they can take the top exit out of that jungle, as we do see LemonDogs almost inch forward there. We Will Failure. Of course, that was the Explorer ward down from We Will Failure in that brush, which is now timed out. So they've lost vision there. However, they still have the vision on that curve bush underneath the red buff. And it looks like we will be seeing a red steal here coming out from SK.
I'm kind of surprised that LemonDogs let that one slip by them, but obviously not too comfortable with their level 1 fight. SK just lets Zoro walk by, then they're going to go for the red here. But it also means Kevin, he's not positioned to get down to whichever lane he's going to go to. Neither is Osset, since we mentioned before, he has that flat 8 armor pen, Flate, kind of combine the words there. And he wants to go up against Nuke Duck, but it doesn't look like he's going to get that opportunity. So he'll be top lane against Zoro here. And Kevin, I'm not sure which lane he's going to go to just yet, as it looks like he will in fact be middle.
Yeah, it looks like he is going middle here, and LemonDogs have actually been spotted going down to the red buff, and they've only come with 2 men here. SK can stop this red buff being taken, and that could give him a 3-buff start, similar to what Fnatic pulled up yesterday.
We do have HerkyBot coming down, though, from middle, so it looks like he's going to try to stop this, and LemonDogs, they end up staying a ward in the end. So now Dexter, he's a little bit behind, and he's actually going to leech a little bit of XP middle just so he doesn't fall too far back. But it looks like he's not done just yet. He wants to go for a blue steal.
Well, it looks that way. I mean, he is headed over there. There's a ping towards the top lane there just to warn Ocelot of what's going on. And I'd be surprised if SK didn't actually come around this side. We can see on the minimap that Nasus, or HerkyBot, is doing his red buff here. But there is a ward from LemonDogs, so they spot that he's down there. They know that he's not coming around. And Dexter should be able to take this blue buff away, which... it's slightly weird how this one's going to go down now. It means LemonDogs get both blue buffs and SK get both red buffs.
I don't think I've seen that happen too much before, but...
it's not what you really want.
Well, yeah, not in the end. And luckily, Dexter does hit level 3 here, and Ocelot did spot him with a ward. Actually, both teams had sight of both junglers in the end, so they know exactly what's going to happen. And because of that, you know, LemonDogs were able, or not LemonDogs, sorry, SK was able to push LemonDogs out of lane in the bottom lane. So we saw Nuke Duck get pushed out relatively early on, sitting on 9 CS, so he's pretty much tied even with Ocelot, but they're going for that lane swap. They want to send Kassadin against Ahri here.
Yeah, Kassadin is going into that top lane. It looks like Ocelot is actually backing away from this one. He's going to recall, so we'll see if we see another switch. And you can see on the minimap the bottom lane of SK is actually recalling as well, and we are going to see another switch around.
Okay, so this is actually a really interesting point in the game in terms of what's going to happen here. Actually, we do see a teleport coming in, so Ocelot will get there a lot quicker. But still, his 80 carry support lane's going to have a tough time since they will be a little bit behind in terms of getting back to lane. But it causes a very low-level, low-farm kind of game where it's more about team fighting, unless they want to extend this laning phase out for, you know, at least 10 to 15 minutes.
Now we can see already Ocelot putting down a bit of pressure on towards Zoro, who's going to find his farming a little bit more difficult now that Ocelot is in there. Like you said, running that armor pen as well will certainly be helping things out. There is Dexter. Wow. He just, he missed probably the easiest stretch line that he's ever going to have right in front of him there, which I don't know if that's a signal maybe that they're feeling a little bit nervous for this one.
It wasn't about hitting it though, it was about sending a message to it in the end. I was thinking there was maybe a joke in there too in terms of like using the wrong bait on the hook to get the fish, but anyways, Ocelot's still going to be applying pressure down towards the bottom lane here. And he's up in CS compared to his counterpart in the top lane right now, and also the person he's laning against currently.
Yeah, certainly doing a good job of that one. There's HerkyBot putting a ward down over on the top side of the jungle once again. Interesting to see what happens when the buffs respawn on this one, because they're probably going to try and settle into a bit more, you know, of a red-blue pattern rather than just 2 reds or 2 blues, which means that they'll probably change things up in terms of the order that they actually go in for these buffs afterwards.
You would hope they'd switch it up, but we never know what's going to happen. And yeah, it just depends on where, you know, Nuke Duck is. He can't actually get a blue buff unless it is SK's right now, just in terms of where he is. But the thing is, LemonDogs have the timer on blue, so they could go for that steal. They don't necessarily need to give it over to their middle lane. And actually, if anything, Dexter will be keeping his own blue if he's able to pick it up, just to keep up those levels.
So right now, Jace already got that tier in. Had himself a ward there as well, just to make sure that he doesn't get caught out anywhere around that middle lane. But right now he's safe because that Nautilus is in the top, trying to stop Candy Panda and Nif being such bullies onto NukeDuck.
And if you look, actually, Kevin is out farming Candy Panda right now on his own team. And he's in a 1v2 lane where Candy Panda has been in a 2v1 lane this entire time, which might be a good or a bad sign here.
And we'll have to see how that all develops. One thing's for sure, though. He's behind the other AD carry. That's a real big thing. Tab's 50 CS right now compared to the 35, as we are going to see a gank coming down onto this bottom lane. Zoro going to get withered up. Here comes Ocelot. He's going to be right underneath the turret, and indeed, he's got no mana there. He's taken a lot of damage. You can see Jace is coming down from that middle lane, but there's the unstoppable force. What reactions from Ocelot.
Looks like it's not over just as Nif's getting caught up here.
Yeah, he's ignited here as well. Puts down the Aqua Prism. Why did he... I don't know why he turned around there. I'm not sure why Dexter just turned around. He could have got one more auto attack onto Nif, which I think would have killed him.
It definitely might have here. It might have been a misclick. It might have just been strategic, just trying to push him out of the lane in the end. But NukeDuck, if he was level 6, I mean, there's no doubt about it. They would have picked up at least one kill there, maybe even 2. But wow, Ocelot, that reaction time, dodging the unstoppable force out of Zoro with his ultimate. The last charge of his ultimate, too. That was just ridiculous.
One has to wonder if he was already planning to do that and it was just happened to be at the same time.
You have to wonder about that.
No, I think that was just pure amazing reactions coming out of Ocelot. That's the kind of thing that you've got to do if you want to play at this level here in the LCS.
That's what's kind of scary, though, is that if you get him pumped up about that, like, yeah, I dodged that, he gets all excited, it's really going to affect his team as well because they're going to get excited and it really gives them a little bit of momentum.
Yeah, and that's one of the strengths, really, of Ocelot and how he plays games and how he really interacts with the rest of his team there. As we do see the blue buff being given over to Kassadin, who's now going... No, he actually didn't. He went to Dexter.
Yeah, it looks like Dexter unfortunately did get it, but NukeDuck is going to take a little bit of damage getting back to lane, and that was obviously a mistake because you saw NukeDuck. He was helping out with that blue, trying to get it for himself, and that is going to hurt him a lot. It's pretty much just like SK taking the blue away from you.
Yeah, and I have to say that from what we've seen from Dexter so far, he certainly seems to be feeling the pressure here on the stage in Moscow. We saw that dredge line at the start not really connecting where he would have wanted. The auto attack that may or may not have killed Nif right at the end as he's burning from the exhaust and taking the blue buff away there from NukeDuck. I mean, these are the little things almost that when they stack up can end up being bad for you in the long run. I'm
trying to think back to Lil, where he was actually subbing for Dragonborns then, and whether or not he played a really consistent, a really well played out game, but if I remember correctly, he unfortunately didn't. But then again, DreamHack he did extremely well, so it's kind of hit or miss here. It might just be an experience thing, over time he'll be completely fine, and that's even if it's just him looking a little nervous or maybe a little tired or something. I'm not sure.
Yeah, and that can certainly happen. I'm not 100% sure which player it was from LemonDogs who got in 6 a.m. this morning. Okay, so apparently it was Tabs. That clears things up a little bit, so can't give Dexter that excuse just for
and Tabs is doing phenomenal. He's out farming everyone in the game, and he got in at 6 a.m., so depriving him of sleep is the key to getting Tabs to play exceptionally well.
Apparently so. Right now we've got Ocelot versus Zoro again in this top lane. Ocelot at 43 to the 46 CS of Kassadin, and is also behind the Malphite as well. As there is the unstoppable force. This time Dexter lands the hook, and he's going to get the first blood coming down with a death charge.
Poor Ocelot, I bet he was wondering, can I have control of my character for 1 second here just so I can get away? Because they just locked him up perfectly. Really well done by Dexter to come in through the lane, but now Candy Panda going to be trying to push NukeDuck out of lane here and try to hold him back and farm. But, Joe, this might be the first turn of the game going over to LemonDogs.
Yeah, and that's completely the opposite of what we were just talking about from Dexter. This time playing very, very patient, landing everything that he needed to land, and gets them the first blood in the end. And look at this. This turret is going down. The middle lane turret is actually going very, very low here as well, and may end up falling soon.
Well, it looks like SK is going to respawn, though, by taking the bottom turret, and Kevin is in the middle lane defending it here. So just a one-for-one trade. The gold difference isn't that bad, to be honest. It's about 500 gold at this point, and considering how, Candy Panda's been behind in CS a little bit, Ocelot kind of fell a little bit behind earlier on, but has caught up now. It's not too bad for SK, because they still have a very strong team. The poke they can have out of Kevin, since he hasn't been hindered at all in lane right now, as he's sitting at 79 CS, now 80, he should be able to apply a lot of pressure, and it doesn't really matter if Ocelot falls, any further behind at this point. Well, obviously there's a limit to that, but it looks like Dragon was started for SK, but LemonDogs does top them.
Yeah, that hook almost landed in there from Dexter. But they've done what they really came to do there, which was stop that dragon from being taken. They will have a chance at taking it down themselves. There is a pink ward on it, though, from SK, which means that we might have to see a pink ward coming down. In fact, there is one coming down now from base with We Will Fail. So they're going to try and get control of that dragon area. See, whilst you're a little bit ahead, the dragon is something that you want to keep a tab on.
Well, it's funny about dragon is that LemonDogs, they are the slowest first dragon taking team in LCS right now at around 13 minutes and 48 seconds after their first week performance, but they have taken the most dragons in the entirety of LCS with 14. So SK looks like they're going to start this off here, and no one in LemonDogs camp is near this.
No, and that's really strange for me in a way, because We Will Fail did come out of base, as I pointed out, with a pink ward. They knew that SK had tried to do that dragon before. For me, you've got to get wards down there and make sure that you've got vision of that one. They've pretty much given that one up right now to LCS, that gives them a 400 gold lead.
Yeah, the thing is, like, they weren't in position at all. I mean, you pointed out that SK tried doing it previously, and they kind of should have known there's an inkling for it, but they just said, forget it, go back to your lanes, just keep farming up here, because they're currently winning that war right now. And they are winning, well, not winning the gold war anymore here, but the thing is, LemonDogs have a very strong team for an engagement. If Zorazor does want to go in, obviously he needs to get a little bit tanky, but SK, like, they need farm to really do any damage here.
Yeah, certainly do. And let's not forget that teleport from Ocelot could make an appearance back in the game any minute. Is now off cooldown again. There's that pressure on mid turret, and a little bit cautious of going in, and rightly so, really. I mean, you've got Nif who can lock you up in that aqua prison. You've got the charms that will land quite easily from Ocelot. There's some charms that you definitely won't see people be missing. And then you're locked up for a long time underneath the turret as well, which is the real bad point of that. Right now, Dexter is going to be going up into that top brush, and there are pings on his position because he's walked over a ward.
Yeah, definitely great ward by Kevin right there to put that one down. And you saw NukeDog try to go for a combo on him, and it didn't do that much damage, which is a great sign for SK if they can hold Kassadin back. We're going to have to see as time goes on, obviously, if that will continue, or if maybe he'll change up a little bit here. And again, Kevin, I mean, his poke doesn't do too much damage just yet either. He doesn't have that MOHGamiing completed.
No, but does have the Brutalizer in there, and that tier already been in there for quite a while. I'm assuming he's stacked pretty highly with mana already. And there is Zoro0, thanks to a pink ward, has cleared out any vision on this between middle and bottom lane on that far side of the jungle. So he's got pretty much a free alleyway almost to switch between that bottom lane and the middle lane if he needs to get involved.
You can see what LemonDogs is trying to do right now. They have currently pink wards picked up onto Dexter and over onto We Will Failers. So it looks like they want to start going for some fights here and try to make those opportunities happen. So if they deny that vision and Zorazor just surprises them, it's really hard for SK to kind of compose themselves. But meantime, SK, they're going for a push on here on this middle turret.
Yeah, but they realize that damage comes back very quickly at them. The piercing arrows coming out from Tabs, throwing those hail of arrows in there as well. Going to force Nif to use every single cooldown on that heal at this stage. Like you said, though, good poke coming out of Kevin, but that's only going to be getting stronger probably in the next 3 or 4 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, when that MOHGamiing's done, it's instantly going to increase quite a bit, and that'll allow SK to harass quite well, but again, they're against a Sona. So the harass you do, if it only hits one person, should be able to heal it up over time. And then again, LemonDogs, if you try to go for damage on the turret, try to siege it down, if Candy Panda isn't quick enough on his Arcane Shift or his Flash, he could get caught by Zorazor and just blown up.
Yeah, that's the interesting thing here, that LemonDogs do have a big going combo with that Kassadin, the Malphite in there, the Nautilus. Got to get the crescendo in place, and then the ultimate out of Varus. And if they manage to chain all those things together, then they should be able to lock up a fight. But it only takes one miss, the crescendo to not follow in after the unstoppable force, and things quickly go badly.
Exactly. We've seen how hard it is for teams to pull off combos, depending on what's, in the current meta. Remember the Curse of the Sad Bullet time?
I was just about to say that. We saw everyone outside of Korea trying it, and everyone don't remember a good one.
Exactly. They just could not hit them. They would unfortunately miss them. And even Gambit tried it. That's the thing. Like, even the top-tier team tried to make it work, and unfortunately, they just just weren't able to. But LemonDogs, I'm assuming they've been practicing, this composition a little bit, practicing their ability to work together here. But it comes down to how fast SK can react. If they can get out of it somewhat or make someone on LemonDogs miss, then they should be able to have those fights.
Well, we've gone into a more passive farming phase of the game. And if you look down the CS here while we've got some time, we can see that Jace and Malphite pretty much bang even right now. Just that one assist coming out from Malphite. And Jace's big wave that he's just taken down there to shut me up for a while. Mid lane, 92 to 81. So Ocelot has really brought that total back where Duck Nuke, no, Nuke Duck. I got it out eventually. Nuke Duck was ahead of him earlier on. Jason, take it away.
Sure, yeah. I mean, he was able to catch up here, and that might be a bad sign for Nuke Duck because a lot of kills aren't happening. It's just one in about 16 minutes, wherever, you know, in CIS we saw about 15 to 20 at this point. And the thing is, Nuke Duck needs the money. He needs the income from somewhere. All he has is that tier and that catalyst. But the thing with Cassidy is, if you start to win one fight, you can snowball really quickly and really hard. But it's about, can SK let him get to that point? Will LemonDogs go for any fights relatively soon to stop that? We'll see.
We shall see. And there's a Bloodthirster actually finished off by Tabs, who's Varus. We talked about it earlier on in the bans that Caitlyn has definitely been his go-to champion when it comes to the AD carry role. He's picked up Varus here. He's had a good lead pretty much the entire game over the Ezreal. Got that Bloodthirster in already with a Berserker Greaves and a couple of Doran's Blades. On the other side though, Ezreal already working himself up.
And that's what I'm kind of worried about for Candy Panda is that, you know, blue build Ezreal, if you go that traditional blue build, if you fall behind early on, well, not even if you fall behind, if you don't have a lead early on, your build doesn't really keep up in terms of damage, which only with that Spirit of the Elder Lizard done so far, he might be lacking a little bit here, but SK should be able to stay out long enough. Like, they have some pretty decent wave clear with their whole setup to really, you know, stop any kind of aggression towards that. But LemonDogs, they're sitting up for Dragon here. They have a lot of pink wards down, and they're going to go for it.
There is a lot of pink wards down. Ocelot a little bit far back here, but he does have teleport if he needs to be called into action early on. Can they take this one down? Both junglers do have smite available, as we are going to see them moving closely, and it is going to be taken by LemonDogs. Where's the fight going down? Good wave coming in, but it's a kill already. Varus picks that one up, and the ultis do string together nicely for him this time around. Kevin goes down. That's a double kill coming out for Tabs. Candy Panda fails. They hook him in. Triple kill, Tabs, and that is 4 kills for nothing and a dragon for LemonDogs, and they're getting at least 1 turret from that.
And just like that, the game gets kicked underway. We talked about Nuke Duck. They need to get some fights going on really soon for him to get the gold he needs. And the thing was, we saw during the fight, before it broke out, HerkyBot mismited Dragon, and it allowed Zoro2 to pick it up with a ground slam. And now LemonDogs, they're going to go for a pull on Ocelot.
They're going straight in on towards Ocelot. There's a rift walk from Nuke Duck. Couldn't quite get it in, but there goes Zoro2. Shard and the ground slam to go down. Nuke Duck tanking up the turret. Now that is teamwork if I've ever seen it before.
And look how quick, in about 2 minutes time, we saw a 0-1 score for LemonDogs go to 0-6 now. They have almost a 4,000 gold lead. Took 2 turrets off that, and a dragon just snowballed so quickly. And SK has to be very careful. They cannot afford to be losing any more members right now. They need to recoup here and just kind of take a second, put a pause timer on, just farm up a little bit more and get some items. But what you said about Nuke Duck was like hitting the nail on the head. It was just so well done by him to tank the turret for as long as possible, just to allow Zoro2 to get in there and pick up the kill.
And Zoro2 would have probably died there as well, actually, if he'd not taken those 2, maybe 3 hits from it. We see a Rod of Ages now finished up for Cassidy. Sunfire Cape is in there with the Negatron Cloak. And the Chalice already for Zoro2. He had that a little bit earlier on. And then if you look down with the junglers as well, I mean, for Nautilus, got that Locket of the Iron Solari already finished up. And you can see that he is ahead when it comes to that.
Yeah, he's a full item ahead just with the Locket of the Iron Solari. Not to mention a little bit of extra armies picked up here. The thing is, he's 104. He's level 11 to the level 9 HerkyBot. So he has level 2 ultimate now. And the thing is, HerkyBot, if we go check out his Q real quick, if I can look at that, it's plus 147. So it's not exactly where you want it to be at this point. But with the way SK is playing, they're channeling their farm into Ocelot and channeling into Candy Panda and Kevin. So the only farm he's going to get is pretty much from jungle if there's any left for him. So his Q won't be doing much damage. He's strictly just utility right now, just to shut down Tabs, which he isn't even going for attack speed at this point.
So there we see Nuke Duck hammering away on that bottom turret, and should be able to have this one away. There's no one really near him, and the amount of minions that he's got will be able to tank it up long enough for him to finish that one off. So good stuff by him, and that will be turret number 4 for LemonDogs as they're going on to Candy Panda. There's a disengage, but Varus had already got the ulti down. Tabs picks up another kill. He's now 4-0-1, and Zoro doesn't seem to be finished here, but he might have to be because Ocelot is coming in around the side. Can he escape this one? This is not looking good for him. Gets slowed, uses the unstoppable force, but it was stoppable this time around. On the other side of the map, LemonDogs are now pushing in for an inner turret in the bottom lane.
Great reaction at that. And this is exactly what they should do. This is what Gambit does with Darren in the top lane when he overextends. They take another objective on you right away when he goes down, and you look at how many members of SK were committed up there towards the top side just to kill Zoro. So now another turret in the gold lead, up to about 5,000 right now. Just fantastic job by LemonDogs, and I think Tabs kind of proved us wrong now, and yeah, he can play more than Caitlyn, as you see him 4-0-1 with 187 CS on Varus.
Kevin has actually pushed this top lane out though, and this will be turret number 2 for SKGaming here in just a second once that actually gets itself finished off. Actually not pushing out too hard here. He still wants to farm in this lane.
Yeah, and he's trying to deny a little bit more CS if possible over to LemonDogs, but I don't think LemonDogs really care. They just want to go for some fights now. They want to go for aggression. But SK, they're going to pick up 2 turrets just by a little bit of mispositioning by LemonDogs where they went back to buy. As we have the last Mr. Pizza. Oh my god, Ocelot.
Ocelot sniped. Actually has to use his ultimate there to get away from that one. Are they going to try and follow through? Yes, they are. Zoro is right on top of Candy Panda, and Tabs will snipe him down. And that will be another kill for Tabs. 5-0-1 right now.
And just the way Tabs leveled up in terms of how his Hail of Arrows was changed in 3.7, he's taking his Piercing Arrow, his Q first, and with that Bloodthirster Last Whisper combo, you saw how hard he chunked Ocelot. You saw how hard he chunked Candy Panda.
Oh. That wasn't as much as I heard the ping at the same time, and that sounded like the low health ping to me. I'm very excitable today. I don't know why. There we go. Half HP on that inhibitor turret. I can't speak. I'm excitable. Yeah. It's a great day for League of Legends casting here at the LCS. Are they going to be able to get in and finish this one off? It's a bit risky for them by the looks of things, and they decide to back off.
So I definitely have to agree with that. Like right now, with the lead they have, there's no point in going for something that could throw the game for yourself. Where SK, after picking up those 2 turrets, they're not that far behind anymore. It's only about 4,000 gold. And at this point in the game, when it's 23 minutes in, that's not that big of a difference. So they're just trying to be very safe here. And if you look at the kills on the board, I mean, we talk about kill spread, Joe. We talk about that quite a bit. And if you look at right now, Tabs has all the kills for this team pretty much. Zoro's at 2. Nukeduck only has, well, 0. He has 0 and 4 assists. But luckily for him, he does have the Rod of Ages completed, and he is sitting on 1,600 gold. So even with just those assists, he should be able to buy up here. And if a Piercing Arrow lands on Candy Panda and Nukeduck goes in, Candy Panda's dead.
Yeah, and that's the thing that you were talking about, the kill spread thing. If Tabs dies here in a fight, that's when SK really have a chance to get back into things. It's not a walk in the park from at this point by any means, but it is still there. The gold isn't massively in favor of LemonDogs. There is a dragon coming up in just 10 seconds. You can see that Dexter has this one timed down nicely, and they are going to be taking another one. Can't see SK coming out for that one.
And you're seeing why they have the most dragons taken in LCS so far in the summer split, because they always time it, they always take them, and even though they might lose first blood, might lose first turret, you know, a little bit more after that, if they're always taking the dragons, if they're always trying to take these objectives, then they're definitely going to keep up in gold.
And there we go then, dragon taken down. And it is almost exactly 5,000 gold. SK at this point are in the process of getting a bit of farm, shoving the lanes out. LemonDogs on the other hand, We Will Failure is going to be throwing all the wards down that he possibly can to keep a real grasping hold on this bottom side of the SK jungle.
Yeah, and LemonDogs, they have to be careful here. They need to keep this aggression. If they take their foot off the pedal at all, SK should be able to claw their way back into this and be able to take as much as possible in terms of their own jungle, in terms of some kills potentially. But We Will Failure with that Oracle, with the amount of wards he's putting down, just like you said, he's trying to stranglehold them. He's trying to keep control, and it shows with the current war coverage that they potentially want to go for a push on this bottom turret.
Zoro takes literally no damage right now from that Jay's poke through the acceleration gate. Like, because of how tanky he is at this point, he just really isn't taking a lot of damage. The question is, can LemonDogs find the opportunity to really string those ultimates together like they're going to need to? Looks like they're going to go for the third and final inner turret, which is that one in the top lane.
And the wards are just being put down everywhere, just littered across the map right now. But still, with that Oracle, they're able to clear out all this vision against SK, and right now, I mean, they have the ability to go for this turret. If SK tries to defend this turret and LemonDogs pretty much go for it, attack him under this turret, engage, and Zoro's going to catch him, but Dexter's the one to do it this time.
Oh, they went in on towards Candy Panda there, decided not to blow the ultimates on him as Weevil Failer takes a blast there. And actually going to back away. Zoro getting withered up there. Here comes the Nami wave, but are they going to be able to follow in? Zoro turns around. Kassadin's off towards the side, but can they get everything else in there? They're a little bit disjointed here, LemonDogs, and SK managed to survive it. Candy Panda himself went very low, but still was able to walk away from it. And now it's LemonDogs on the back foot. Zoro did get himself home, and now they just walk off. Crazy fight that ends with no kills.
Candy Panda was so lucky right there just based on his positioning because he was off towards the wall. Nukeduck, if he just ulted over the wall and hit him with like one force pulse or something, he would have died right there. So lucky for him. And still, they're going to lose an inhibitor off of this. Oh, no, it's just going to get very low at this point. But that's the point, you see. It's so low that you can dive under the turret, you can have Tabs hit it a couple times, kill it, and not worry about that damage anymore. So SK, they can't really afford to fight under the turret if anymore there.
We just saw them there chasing down towards that bottom lane where Nuke was, and you just can't catch him, Kassadin. Nope. If he's got mana, there's not even really much point in trying to catch him because he will get away from you. But let's have a look at the items now that everyone's backed off a little bit. Gives it a bit of a breather between the constant sieges. Kassadin working up towards that death cap, almost there with the needlessly large rod and that blasting wand. And of course, the Rod of Ages from earlier on, compared to the DFG that the Ocelot's gone for, and a blasting one on top of that as well.
Yeah, so the DFG, it gives him a lot of damage, but the thing is, with where he is in the game currently, he's level 11 compared to level 15 on Nukeduck. Like, that right there just tells you the story of the game. So the DFG, it's going to give him a lot of damage, yeah, but the point is, he doesn't have the levels or the AP behind it for it to really make a huge difference. I mean, obviously, it's a flat amount right now. And then one thing is, I was looking over at the items, is that I think Tabs hurt you, Joe, because he's building a GA. He realizes that he has all the kills. If he dies in these fights, they're going to have a hard time, winning the rest of it out. So he's going to build that GA. He's going to get that little second life alive. As I think that's a crowd going wild to ward killing, if I'm not mistaken.
I do believe they are, in fact, going crazy over ward kills. That shows you, what this game is. It sounds harsh to what it's developed into, which is not a boring game or anything like that. But the point is that LemonDogs are pushing where they can and playing it very, very safe. And SK just sit back and soak up the pressure. And they don't want to make a false move because they know that they are still in this game somewhat. But if they lose another big fight, they could possibly be completely out of it.
I think one thing that could completely change the game around for SK is Nif. He's made big plays before, like on different champions like Elise, even Sona back in the early spring split with his like 4- or 5-man crescendos. But if he lands one Aqua Prison on Nukeduck, that can completely change the game around. Or maybe even onto Tabs, completely can change it around, where they can knock him up yet again, they can stack as much CC as possible, kill that person, and then just continue to move on, as the mirror mana is now finished for Kevin. So SK, they're not out of this at all.
Nope, definitely not. And LemonDogs know it. Don't make no mistakes about that one. LemonDogs know that this is not over just yet. That GA, of course, is finished for Tabs, having to go in there just for matter of self-protection. See the Randuin's Omen finished up as well over on Zoro. So another couple of big items coming in for them.
Joe, this is really deadly right now. How can you afford to face check a team? I thought they were going to stay in the bushes and bait them in, because how are you going to face check a team like that where they can silence you, they can crescendo you, have ridiculous amount of CC? And that actually might be their game plan here, because it can really catch them off guard. As long as they can dodge the shock blasts, they have the ability to do it, though. It looks like they might be starting Baron here. They have the damage to do it, like you have bars. But I guarantee you they're going to break off from this, and they're going to engage upon SK when they try to stop them.
Yeah, this to me smells of, we're doing Baron, come and get it. Only joking, that's fine.
Exactly.
We'll see if they continue to do that. They're actually still doing the Baron right now. It's down to half HP as Nukeduck actually has to get himself away here. Can they get that perfect exchange? Yes, they can. Onto both Ocelot and Kevin here. Can they follow up, though? Nice tidal wave coming out from Nami. They still push through. Crescendo lands on Candy Panda and Hercubot. Great Aqua Prism coming out. The Charm lands onto Zoro. But look at Tabs at the back there. He's going to take Kevin out. Switches over on towards Ocelot. He's a dead man as well. And that is already 3 men down for SKGaming. Candy Panda being chased down by Nukeduck. Sniped off in the end by Tabs, who is now now up at 8-0-2, and that in the end was a 4-for-1, and it was just the support player for LemonDogs that went down.
That fight was just crazy on so many different levels that I guarantee most people can't even see. I know I didn't see some of them in there as well, is that you saw Tabs. He actually put down his hail of arrows to slow down HercuBot from catching Nuke Duck there. You even saw the crescendo come in, which is perfectly well timed in terms of it caught HercuBot, it caught Candy Panda, kept him out of the fight for a while. And then you saw Tabs. He just came around from the middle side of the river from behind them. He pushed Kevin out right away, and no one turned onto him because he has a GA done. Like, you're not going to kill him. If you spend everything on it to kill him, he's going to pop right back up, and you still have 0-0 attacking you, who does a deceptively a large amount of damage, and then Nuke Duck free. Just it was really well played by SK. You have to give him credit for that. Nif, the Aqua Prison he landed was perfect. But unfortunately, they just didn't have that damage behind him to finish people off.
No. That certainly is the case here. And just looking at Nuke Duck's score there, 0-0-6, playing that support Cassadin role that we also love and cherish. Got that death cap now in there and finished, along with the Rod of Ages earlier on. What else did we see picked up? Another Oracle coming out for We Will Fail It. Nif got one of his own here, as you can see. And they're just going to have a bit of a ward war around that Baron area, because the Baron, after all, is still up and available for the taking.
Yeah, and that was a very smart play by Nif right there, too, because that was his one opportunity to get in here and get these wards down, because he knows they can't really check. Like, when they're behind, 10 deaths, or 10 kills, they're down about 8,000 gold, and they realize that how are we supposed to push into Baron when you have such a strong team to engage upon? But Asa does teleport behind him.
He's coming behind them, and Nuke Duck might be in trouble. There's the Nami tidal wave, but a great crescendo over the top will lock Ocelot off. Where has the damage gone, though? We see Candy Panda going in on towards 0-0, and LemonDogs say, no, let's not do this one. Let's not fight, but Dexter going to get charmed in. HercuBot getting turned upon here. They're still trying to run away from this one. They'll manage it. We saw that Varus was just not there. Tabs had gone from the fight, and now SK going for it, but look at the piercing arrow. The damage it does send SK running for help.
And that was a fantastic engage by SK. They realized, like, where they were in this game, what they needed to do. Oh my god, Asa almost dropping right there. As Tabs isn't even afraid. He's going to keep pushing in here.
Is he going to predict this one correctly? No. And he's charging up right now. It goes through, but no one's behind the turret. And it looks like Nuke Duck is actually going down towards his bottom lane to push that one out on towards the turret as well. Are they going to try and four-man Baron here?
I think they can. We Will Fail It. He has the Oracle. He's going to clear all the vision that SK just gained, and that's what gave him the opportunity to go for the fight. You have Nuke Duck still bottom lane right now. He's pushing up, trying to go for this turret here. You should be able to get that one, or actually anything. They're going to get at least one objective. Either it's an inhibitor turret, or it's this Baron.
Well, we see Nuke Duck has now left that bottom area. Kevin is going to be coming to try and steal, but as he just realizes the Baron is still far too healthy to be finishing it off with that Shock Blast, but it is dropping very, very quickly here, and it will be LemonDogs to pick up the Dragon. They're now 7,600, the Baron, 7,600 gold now in the lead.
And the thing is, SK threw everything they could at LemonDogs right there, but unfortunately for them, it just wasn't enough to pick up one kill. And they had the far superior position there too, because the damage for LemonDogs was on the other side of the wall in that blue buff cove. And that just kind of gives you a sign that SK, they realize they're kind of desperate right now to make something happen. But with this Baron, with LemonDogs backing and picking up some items, which some really key items are being picked up here, it's going to be really hard for them to defend here.
Yeah, Runic Bulwark picked up now by Dexter. And actually, it was a little bit slower getting that in than SK, who had it 3.5 minutes before them on that one.
And we do see a BF Sword picked up on a Varus as well, so Tabs is going to have even more piercing arrow damage on top of what he already had before that. And we even see 0-0 going for a bit of damage himself, picking up that Abyssal Scepter relatively soon, as he already has the 2 parts for it. But picking up blue buff for Nuke Duck. Looks like LemonDogs are starting to position down towards bottom. They have the middle inhibitor down. They have the bottom inhibitor turret relatively low at this point. And they should be able to push for at least another inhibitor here. Like, this is the point where SK realizes, all right, guys, are we going to go for an engage here and try to take the game back? Or are we going to let them have it and try to go from a, farming kind of standpoint where we just try to get as much gold as we can in the little time we have?
And look at the difference there. And if you noticed it, We Will Fail It took a Shock Blast. With the items that have just been picked up in that last round, he does so much less damage to him. So
little damage?
No,
less
compared
damage.
to earlier, so less damage than before. Whatever, you know what I mean. As we are going to see them going in towards Kevin, and it all gets dunked on Kevin. He's a dead man. Hercubot gets locked up as well by the Varus ultimate. Ocelot is having to use his defensively as well. Is he going to be able to get away from this one? Another piercing arrow comes flying through from Tabs as Candy Panda gets caught. But it's important that the inhibitor turret's gone down. Ocelot is just chilling at the bottom. They know that this one is going to be GG. We Will Failure takes down the inhibitor, and now they go towards the Nexus turret. Surely, are they going to try and finish here? No, they're going to go. Oh, yes, they are. They seem a bit undecided there as they head towards that top lane, but they are going to go for the win right here, right now, as once again, Nuke puts down the damage on towards Nif. First Nexus turret is gone down. The second one is going to fall as well, and they focus straight in onto the Nexus, and LemonDogs are going to take down MOHGamiing here in week 2 of the summer split in the European LCS. Fantastic performance.
Perfect, Joe. Fantastic is like the perfect word for this, because we talked about earlier on, before the game started, how have Nuke, or not Nuke, as he's on the screen, how have LemonDogs gone from the first week of LCS to the second one? That is a key thing. They prepared for over a month for the first week, but they've only had a week to do it for the second one. And you saw it there. They had a plan. They prepared extremely well, and they came out with the victory, taking themselves 3-3, tied with Fnatic.
And think about the start of this one for a 2-0-9 Dexter by the end there. Missing everything, stole his teammates' blue buff,
right.
Probably could have got himself first blood in there as well. By the end, you could see that he's grown in confidence, and as a team there, LemonDogs, I mean, Tabs, 9-0-3 by the end. What a performance from them. That obviously now puts LemonDogs at 3-3, tied up with Fnatic, the team that won everything in the Spring Split, the playoffs and the Spring Split itself. So overall, just a fantastic performance coming out of the LemonDogs. We're going to head over though to the analysis desk where Demon and Quickshot are going to break it down.
Yes, thank you very much, Joe. And Captain Kaplan, we are, of course, back on over at the analysis desk. And wow, some wombo combos coming out there from the LemonDogs. You know, they arrived very, very late last night.
Yeah.
And
Last
so
team to
obviously
arrive.
managed to get very much the last team to arrive by a whole day.